What up, it's your boy Antonio, the Colorado Plug, Southwest Alliance. You know what it is. We had a very interesting weekend. Conflict resolution, body bag battles, conflict resolution 5. You know, we're gonna talk about it. And there's a lot to get to. There's a lot to address. So, you know, let's get to it. But let me tell you that this comes from a place of love and not a place of hate. What I'm trying to do is give my feedback. You don't always have to like people's feedback, but it's out there in the ether and people hear it and other people dialogue with it. And, you know, if you're a battle rapper, you shouldn't really be offended. Like, if I knew you personally, this is what I would tell you as your friend when you ask me my opinion about myself. And anybody that knows me knows I'm going to tell you my opinion if you ask it. So that's what it is. Now, you may not have asked for this video, but you're going to get it anyway. So, conflict resolution 5. Bishop and Magic. Magic the Prophet versus Bishop. 3-0 Magic. I'm sorry. This one, it was pretty clear cut. And it doesn't come down to the pen, although I still feel like Magic had more bars. Bars wise, the way he broke it down and his cadence and his control and his delivery, it was a landslide. You know what I'm saying? No pun. Magic had better rhymes. He had better control of the crowd. He controlled himself better, and he had better timing with his punches. He looked like a professional. Man, Bishop has a few issues for me. Bishop, he doesn't have as much control, and he sounds like he's screaming. You know what I'm saying? And it just doesn't. His timing is off. He's like a comedian who doesn't have good timing. Like, the jokes might be on point on paper, or the lines are on point on paper, and some of the things he said, they are bars, and he was rhyming, but it didn't hit on time. It was like watching a dude that don't know how to fight try to throw a jab. You know what I'm saying? Like, his jab was clumsy. So I think that, you know, he may have a nice pen. He has some cleverness to what he's saying, and I could see, you know, how it takes time to craft his bars, but it ain't hitting. The delivery is the problem. The way that his tone of his voice and the screaming, the way it sounds contrived, and it makes it sound awkward. And the punches just would be off. Like, even when he did land through a good punch, it didn't land because it was awkward. You know what I'm saying? So I just think Bishop needs to take notes from some of the other rappers around him, because some other rappers that we're going to talk about later, that they may have the skills he don't, and if they just work together, they could help sharpen each other. So I just think Bishop needed, but there were some highlights. Let me go through it. So Magic had the "if I leave him wet and he's watered down, that's how I sat. You're Asian." That was a bar I had wrote down. How Bishop moves slanted, so do your eyes. Racial, of course, racial bar, but it was still hilarious. He had the line in the second round about Goonies. What do you got with a kid over here from the Goonies playing with the Uzi? Spit roast that bitch hoe till the pig lost his flavor. He had the no Motumbo line. That's all I gave to Kembe or something like that. He had the never leave this guy astonished, look at his face, never leave him astonished line. You got to stand on Big Ben to see the time I'm on. So Magic was cooking. Like, he had very choreographed, nice written bars, and it's more about the presentation and the delivery that he seemed control. He enunciated well. His cadence wasn't so out of control that you couldn't catch the bar. You know what I'm saying? He had he looked like, you know, he's on his way up. He had a line about the guns you rapping about, only time you touch a fire pin, and then he's had a rhyme about Bishop saying, "'cause you growl when you rapping, don't make it hard." What I have for Bishop was, Bishop had a line, a little scheme where he was going back and forth about his black side, white side, trying to, you know, say some biracial shit, which I don't know, I wasn't feeling it again. black side eat chicken any night, and something about the white side not having the seasoning to cook it right or something like that. That was cool. Let's see what I got here. Sorry. No, that's it. I thought I had another bar from Bishop. My bad. Yes, you look like a transgender that stopped halfway. Okay, yeah, he was, he was trying to clown, and I think that he has the right, like, intentions with the bars. They just don't land for me. Like, the screaming delivery on top of it makes it hard to digest, and maybe it's like, that it even makes it hard to keep up. I'm willing to say that, because you're trying to get through all the nonsense and filler to be like, and then I did see some moments where the crowd was into it, but even when the crowd was into it, the bar didn't land for me. You know what I'm saying? That's just all it is. So Magic 3-0. A versus Reckless. So I felt like Reckless was doing too much. I'm gonna keep it real. Reckless was just out there wilding. He came with the Jason Voorhees mask and the fake WWF belt. I just thought that shit was corny. I was not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? And A even had a couple bars about it. And the thing is okay, my critique of Bishop in the last battle is the opposite of what I would say for A. Now, Bishop takes a lot more risks. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to push the pin to the next level, so he took a lot more risk. A played it, I feel like, very safe, but he also has composure and stage presence, and you could hear what he's saying. His delivery was far more on point. His timing was on point with how to hit the punchline. You know what I'm saying? But that would be my critique of A, and I think that Reckless, he came out, the gimmicks to me are dead. I don't like gimmicks. Like, I don't want to see a fake WWF belt or the Voorhees mask. Like, leave it for Light to do that. You know what I'm saying? Let that to be Daylight on that one. But Reckless, he had good energy and aggression. You know what I'm saying? He had a couple nice bars, and he's got some cleverness to some of his bars, but tone it down with all that. Like, let the bars speak for you at this level. Like, all the antic shit, save it. You know what I'm saying? So A had some more solid bars, though, in this one. I gave him 2-1 originally, but I almost go for a 3-0 or a 2-1 clear on this one. So A had the like, was talking about Reckless and was like, basically, when you was on the block, when you was on the stoop or something, I was on the block imitating. You were imitating every WWF from Stone Cold to The Rock, and then he had a scheme on it that, you could really smell what The Rock was cooking when you was watching The Rock was cooking. You could really smell what The Rock was cooking. So I understood that. That was dope. He had bars like, you could leave alive, but you'll be dead inside. He was talking about his belt. The belt that you got, it wasn't earned for any accomplishment, so I was feeling that. Every N-word in your dugout not safe. It's you or me, so it's a eulogy. He had the Charlie Clips line about hitting everybody in the room. I thought that was hard. Reckless had a couple bars, but then he recycled a couple bars. But the first round I had, your whole family tree lit up, happy holidays. I thought that was a good little bar there. Loosely, you know what I'm saying? He had a Mr. T and A-Team scheme in the second round. But then he used the split down the middle double A bar that basically Rum Nitty used against A Ward, and it was just too close not to think that he saw that. You know what I'm saying? And then he had a bar about turning the A into cursive or something, which I think I also heard on another thing. So automatically you lose the second round. So at that point it's 2-0. He did have a bar that said something about the size of an anal bead in an asshole, like talking about a bullet, which was, I thought that was kind of dope. I fucked with it. You know what I mean? He had a Mr. Bean scheme and Family Ties, Baby Keem, he said, which again was like an attempt at a punchline, but it didn't really land. You know what I'm saying? So Reckless, 2-1 clear, A or 3-0, however you want to call it. Now, Dvos versus Spoke, or Dvos. Is it Dvos? I'm fucking this dude's name up. Dvos versus Spoke. This one is interesting. And again, I said this one would be interesting, but anyone really has a chance against Spoke. And here's what I'm gonna go into that more in depth, because here's the thing: Spoke is a very good rapper. He's a very good rapper. Alliteration, his wordplay, his delivery. He's very good at being an entertaining rapper. And that's why I gave him a round. Shout out to Uncle Tux, our network. We're going to talk about it. So the thing with Spoke is he knows how to deliver. He has a good stage presence, but his bars don't always have continuity with the subject matter or with the opponent. It might just be clever, so it's almost like a trick to the crowd. He knows how to punch. Like, Spoke is, to me, on a much different level than Bishop or even Grade A in the first two battles, right? Any of those four battlers, to me, he knows how to entertain. His timing wise with the rhymes, he knows how to punch at the right time, and he's a veteran. You could tell he knows how to rap, but sometimes his bars are just filler, and it's not really as hard as as it sounds once you rethink about it. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll go into that. Dvos, he definitely showed that he could rhyme, and he had very curated schemes that were meticulous, and he knows how to punch as well. My critique of him is that, to me, sometimes it's over curated and it doesn't seem genuine, right? It doesn't have the authenticity factor for me. But I would say he did his thing. I give him a 2-1 clear. I give Spoke one round because he definitely has his presence, and in the second round he had a lot of bars that I wrote down. So in the first round but I still you could give the first to either one of them. That's why I said 2-1 Spoke. You know, Dvos definitely killed it in the second, and the third round is clear him. So, you know, if people want to debate it, they could, but, you know, there's some room for improvement. So in the first round, Spoke had a whole Monopoly Man scheme about him and how he looked, and then, you know, he's a Monopoly Man. And here's an example of bars that are, like, interesting, but they don't actually fit, you know, to me, the context of the battle and the person that he's battling. He had a rhyme about "I Can Make You Dance," about zapping Rodriguez's greatest hits, and "I Can Make You Dance" was like the punchline, but it was just like a 2-bar scheme, bam bam. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it didn't have any intricacy to it. It wasn't tied to nothing else. He had a line about "change your tone like you're speaking through a fan." Again, on that particular line, he had the veteran know-how and stage presence and experience to know how to deliver it like it sounded like it was the rawest punchline ever. But when you think about it, it really, what is he saying? Change your tone, and that, you know, to the other artists, oh, change your tone like speaking through a fan, and, you know, but the crowd reacted. You know what I'm saying? So I was still giving that. His bars, he had a bar about Mike Tyson podcast. I'm hot boxing, and it wasn't it. You know, it didn't hit for me. He did have a line and a scheme that started to get to the next level, and I like this one. It was, "I'm bored with this game. I'm gonna fold him up and box him up," or something like that, or box him in, and it all had to do with the same topic matter. It was definitely dope. He messed up and said calzone. He said, "VO, I said I had to see you," like Deion Sanders. Again, this is a one-line punch. This is a great rap bar, right? It's a half of a rap bar, essentially. You know what I'm saying? But what would have made it next level is if you took some real shit from Jackson State's season, right? Or from Deion Sanders' quotes, and you tied it to a couple more lines into something. Maybe they played New Mexico or New Mexico State, or tied it into something that was bigger than just that line, so that it had a scheme to it and a few punchlines that went with it. It would have just hit better. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed left field. You know what I mean? That particular bar. In the second round, Spoke had a a rebuttal. Okay, hold on, let me go back. So in the first round, Dvos first rebuttals him because he had the whole Monopoly Man scheme. So he goes and hits him with a little, quick setup rhyme and then iron to his shirt. I am the Monopoly Man. I put an iron to his shirt. But he showed that he had that stage presence too right away. So it was like a punch back to him right away. Plus all the shit, the little quips online, which is just for the fun. But then Dvos showed that he had double layer and meaning schemes, right? Because he had a couple bars about Spoke's losses in his past battles. You battled this person, blah, blah, blah. You battled this person, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, and Cortez had him looking like Montezuma. Knowing Spoke is Mexican, you know what I'm saying? Cortez is Puerto Rican, Cortez is the person who took over Mexico, you know what I'm saying? Colonize, keep it what it is. Colonize Mexico. So that was dope. I like that. He had a line about Jackson 5, had to stop to doo-wop, teach him the moonwalk or something. He had a very impactful line about his name is spoken words, but the police know him as testimony. He even ran it back. I felt like, again, this was another example of making the rhyme context and personalized, which I felt like Dvos did better. He had another line about old heads relating, spending most of their time thinking about back in the day. So he had a lot of old man rhymes. He had a lot of rhymes about. But again, these are contextual, personalized rhymes that he wrote for Spoke that fit the content matter to me better than just off like side punchlines. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Oh yeah, he was basically talking about Spoke's his list of people he's battled, his resume, and said, "What are you gonna do after this? Like, what's the end game?" Basically, basically challenging his career. Like, what's the end game? You're gonna battle after this. You're gonna battle cannabis, and he said words will get lost in the sauce like alphabet soup, which was very, again, next level rhyme to me. I gave the first one to Dvos. Second round, I could say it's a toss up because Spoke did come with probably his best material, but I felt like it. Again, there were a lot of rhymes that were just filler. It wasn't tailored to him in an intricate, I want to cut your throat type way. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like you could give the second to Spoke, and that's why, again, I gave it to Spoke. But the third is clear. 2-1. I think it's a debatable. I can see how people can make it a debatable only because I don't feel like Dvos like totally went in. The third he did. The first was very close. You could debate that one. The second I gave to Spoke, but I think you could also debate that one. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that he personalized his rhymes to him because he had rhymes like his lady's nasty as fuck. I bet she wipes her ass from the back to the front. Everybody rhymes about Spoke. If you're from Colorado, you understand why. But, they drag his personal life. I'm not going to get into it. But Dvos did have a line like, I have a question for you. Do you finger your girl with the tattoo of your dead girlfriend on it? Which was, of course, disrespectful. But to me, it just shows context awareness. You know what I'm saying? Spoke rebutted him and tried to like flip the old shit into the I'm old enough to fuck your mom, which was an attempt. It was an attempt. He did have a dope scheme about couple cannons and a parrot too, talking about Dvos attire and what he looked like, and then like a couple of cannons and a parrot too, a dope hook. He'd be a perfect pirate or something like that. It was nice how he delivered it. I fucked with that. Now again, there were a couple of rhymes, and this is a debatable, I guess. This is kind of preference. If you like that someone is just creative and comes up with cool rhymes that you could hear, that's cool, and I think go listen to his music. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm hearing a battle, I don't want to hear corny filler rhymes. I want it to be personalized and you know, towards the person he's battling. So he had a couple dope bars that were like, he had a one that was like defeat on fire. He had a whole scheme about John Madden. Let me go back. He had a scheme about John Madden, and he said defeat on fire, boom, tough acting, acting ho. Again, it did go to the scheme. I'll give you that. But the rhyme itself wasn't as dope as he delivered it. He delivered it really well, but it was like, boom, tough acting, acting ho. What does that really mean? You're gonna light his feet on fire? You know what I'm saying? It's not a gun bar. It's not I'm gonna kill you bar. Boom, tough acting, acting ho. Like, what does that really mean? It's clever. It's a clever wordplay. Does it go in a battle? I don't want it. But he did have an interesting line. Idaho potato, acting ho, acting like a dictator. I'll turn you into, yeah, okay. It was cool. I fucked with it. But again, it's one of those rhymes that's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm like, it was clever. It's clever. It's a punchline. Crowd reacted. Is that what I want to hear in a battle? I don't know. Probably not. Bars just don't strike sometimes. That's what I wrote. So, you know, first round, debatable. Second round, debatable. Third round, clearly, Dvos. I think the first round, Dvos, 2-1. That's what it is. Shout out to them. The next battle was... oh, yes. Don Marino versus Brayzack. Oh, man. Listen, man. Battle of my people. Don Marino, 3-0. Like, Brayzack hadn't battled in a while. And I've seen some cleverness in his rhymes before. I don't know what's going on with him, but that ain't it. Like, the delivery in the first round, it just threw me off. Like, I heard what he was trying to say, but it wasn't just landing. And not only was it not landing, he definitely tried to do some kind of style where he was get into a little rhythm and then be like "Posole" or something like that. Oh man, and I'm not hating because my man St. Joe fuck with Brayzack, and you know St. Joe's my guy, and St. Joe's the one who paid for Cortez to battle him last time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not hate because I said Brayzack had a chance because he has style and his shit is authentic, but the style he tried on Don Marino, it was bad, man. And Don Marino didn't look like he was even trying, to be honest. He freestyled the second round. He had a lot of just, you know, one hits. We out here passing out bills like DeMar Hamlin popped. Oh, yeah, he had a whole line of, like, where he was, like, you know, finishing with the O consonants, and he was like, Pop Boy from the bus, like Cologeno, like, you know, Bronx Tale, just hanging out like the 70s show. Donna had a foreign in the basement. We'll turn Cinco de Mayo into Day of the Dead this Friday the 13th, right? It'll be crystal clear. Brayzack didn't have any structured bars that hit with punchlines. He had a lot of authentic bars and was trying to out Mexican him, which was cool if you're a Latin person that you're like, yeah, let's see who's the most Mexican. Like, okay, I fuck with that because I'm Mexican. And I'm like, okay, I get those bars. It's not going to appeal to anybody outside of us. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to appeal to the average everyday person who don't give a fuck about that. Like, there were bars that didn't have punchlines. They were just like, you know, you don't know what it's like, what's your life like type bar that was like, you know, beans and tortillas. I grew up on beans and tortillas. I feel that bar because I grew up on beans and tortillas. I fuck with it. But it didn't hit because there's no punchline in it. You know what I'm saying? So, Don was just playing with him. He had a couple bars of speed dating. This is speed dating. They gave me 90 seconds to talk to this bitch. And then I'm in this bitch's head like WandaVision. Like, the way they hit and rock the room, Brayzack didn't have nothing that could have, not with what he wrote and not the way he delivered it. So, Bray, I fuck with you, and I hope that, you can bounce back from this. But the delivery, he even made a line about it. He was like, the way you rap is funny. Because everybody, I think, was like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. Brayzack did not get around. Don Marino freestyled second round and won. So, Glueazy versus Kapitol. So, Glueazy versus Kapitol, this is what I'll say. There are probably 2, 3 battle rappers that I would even put up from Colorado to battle anyone national. And Kapitol is one of them. Kapitol did his thing. I liked Kapitol's material. Out of all the Colorado rappers who rapped on this thing, I liked Kapitol's material the most. And I said, don't quote me. I didn't see the Lacrith versus Billy Boondocks. I didn't see that one, and I didn't see Mr. Biscuits versus real name Brandon. So don't hold me if I go watch those. But from what I saw, Kapitol had the most composure, the most stage presence. He knew how to structure the rhymes to be interwoven and have punchlines, and his timing was good. It was like watching, when it got to Kapitol, it was like watching and going, man, someone finally know how to hit him with that punch. You know what I'm saying? And just like, you really punched the motherfucker. Like, Glueazy was like a Boston fighter to me. You know what I mean? He was like not Bernard Hopkins, but he was just like a dirty, greasy fighter that knows how to fight, a Philly fighter. You know what I'm saying? Where Kapitol gave him a scrap, but this is what this dude does. He's like, yeah, okay, let's scrap then, and was good with it. You know what I'm saying? It was an ease to his rhymes that showed ultimate confidence. It was almost like, watching this battle was like watching college basketball, high school college basketball, and then watching the G League and the NBA, right? Like, Glueazy, I'm not gonna say he's a superstar. Like, he's a starter on someone's team in the NBA. You know what I mean? What type of starter? That's up to you. Feel me? But he's starting in the NBA, so to speak, or not the NBA. I guess he would. He would still be. I think in URL he would do good. So let's say a starter in the NBA. He's not a superstar. He's not a star. He's a starter. Kapitol's like a rookie that might get sent to the G League, or a really good G Leaguer that might get pulled up. You know what I'm saying? If they were playing one-on-one in the gym at practice, they're getting buckets. They're both getting buckets. Like, Glueazy wasn't stopping Kapitol. Kapitol was letting off, right? But maybe Kapitol's defense ain't as good, and Glueazy was dunking on him. You know what I'm saying? Just cold. So Glueazy showed that there's levels, and Kapitol has the chance. I'm not fronting. I think Kapitol's one that I would say, keep working on your craft, keep studying the game, look at other people's shit, and just study the architectures of the rhymes and the composition and everything else. You putting it together, man. I fuck with Kapitol. I think that he did the best, and I gave him the third round, but you could tell Glueazy let off the gas. You know what I'm saying? Glueazy, the first two, it was like, boom, boom, and then it was like, what else can you do? It's a 3-round bout. I just knocked you down twice. But Kapitol was in there scrapping. He was in there scrapping, and I'm proud of what he did. When when Glueazy at one point was like telling him, "Oh, you the best from Colorado? They say you might be the best." I am. He said, "I am, no question," and he delivered like that, and I fucked with it. But he still lost, unfortunately. But overall, I'd say the scene got to learn how to host these events. You know what I'm saying? The scene, Colorado hasn't had URL or RBE, and this is probably one of the most successful battle rap events that Colorado's had. VO the Face and other leagues have put on battle rap, but it just doesn't get the turnout. And in order to get the turnout, the fans had to learn how to be the fans. Like, you can't have 2-minute comedians yelling out shit and all this crazy shit. Like, you got to be able to sit back and listen to these rhymes and let people rhyme and stop trying to steal the limelight, because it's like, if you want to be on the stage, then go write some rhymes. Like, VO will put you on. You want to battle somebody, but like people interrupting and talking and just trying to be cool and get attention, like that shit ruined the battle for me. You know what I'm saying? Overall. And that's not anybody's fault. It's just a matter of people being more accustomed to the culture. It's almost like VO should get ring girls with signs like that, have signs that go up that say, "Please be quiet, we are filming," and then in between, when it's not, when it's okay to talk, put them down. And if you violate that, you got to go to the back or out smoke a cigarette or something and come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, bouncer be like, "Hey, back up," because I'm sure that he invested a lot of money in flying these folks here and them coming to do their thing. And then you trying to record and people on the stream trying to watch, and the people who paid are not accustomed battle rap fans that are like from Philly or New York or Atlanta or somewhere where they have these big events, and they don't know they need to just shut the fuck up. And they all want to be cool, right? So it's just like, look, we want Colorado battle rap to grow. So just do your part and meet the guys after and talk shit to them and say, "I would have said this," or do whatever there, but don't say it while they rapping. Like, there were people responding to the battle rappers' bars before he got to the next bar. And it was just like trying to outbar him from the crowd. Like, the shit was wild. So shout out to VO the Face, Conflict Resolution 5. I think a lot of people have to grow. But here's one thing that we need to do, and I'm down to put some money on it, get it going. We need to find the young battle rappers. Either that, or we need to take it back to the park and literally have it outside for free, in the middle of somewhere public, in a tight barber shop. Like, we've got to find and make energy for the young guys. Because shout out to all the guys who's doing it, but where's the young talent at? Who's the nice young dude coming up that thinks he could do that? That's here in Colorado. That's what I'm here for. Let's find that. Peace.